Hello, and a very warm welcome to everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are excited to have you here for our webinar, From Vulnerable to Vigilant, a 15 control blueprint for MSME cyber resilience. I am Ishana Dubey, your host for this session. Today's webinar is designed to provide a clear and practical understanding of how MSMEs can strengthen their cybersecurity posture using a structured 15 control blueprint. Here's a quick snapshot of what we'll cover. Cybersecurity landscape for MSMEs, introduction to 15 elemental controls, people and cultural controls, process and governance controls, technology and defense controls, case studies and practical examples, roadmap for MSMEs. We are honored to have with us Ms. Suhasini, and we look forward to her valuable insights on today's topic. Before we begin, a few quick reminders. Please keep your microphone muted during the session. You can post your questions in the chat box anytime. We'll take them up during the Q&A at the end. We encourage you to engage and share your thoughts throughout the session. Let's dive in. Suhasini, over to you.
Thanks, Ishana, for the wonderful introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's webinar. From Vulnerable to Vigilant, a 15 control blueprint for MSME cyber resilience. We all know MSMEs are the backbone of economy, yet they remain highly vulnerable to evolving cyber threats. Objective of today's session is to equip MSME with a practical, structured, and implementable 15 control blueprint to strengthen cyber resilience, ensure compliance, and build long-term trust relationship with their customers, partners, and regulators. Allow me to briefly introduce myself. I am Suhasini Sharma, an accomplished cybersecurity and risk leader with 16 years of experience in building governance-driven security program, enabling business resilience, and ensuring compliance with global and regulatory mandates. Over the years, I have successfully led enterprise-wide security transformation, collaborated with boards and regulators, and helped organizations embed security into their core business strategy. Before we start our session, let's quickly talk about Cyber SRC. Cyber SRC Consultancy Private Limited, established in 2018, certain and now STQC empaneled organization with ISO 27001, ISO 9001, ISO 17025, and SOC 2 certifications. We are backed by 75 plus years of combined team experience. We help MSMEs, SMEs, and enterprises worldwide to strengthen their cyber defense, manage risks, and achieve compliance. Our cost-effective and result-driven solution enable organizations to build resilience and stay secure in today's evolving cyber landscape. As Ishana has mentioned the agenda, what we will be covering in today's session, a quick glimpse of it. And for your information, we have divided the 15 blueprint, 15 controls blueprint into 3 segments. That is people and cultural control, process and governance controls, and technology and defense controls. People and control will come under the operational part as well. That will be covering into the upcoming slides. Let's discuss about the objectives. MSME often lack the resources. Do you agree with me? I think I'll take up the question after this session. But I think most of us agree that we, as an MSME, they lack the resources in terms of the budget and the dedicated security teams sometimes. So that's why it makes them attractive towards the attackers, attractive targets towards the attackers. Protection of their infrastructure, confidential data is the foundation of resilience. Definitely, cyber incidents can result in financial loss, reputational damage, and even regulatory penalties. I'll take an example of it, whether it would be related to certain guidelines, TPDP Act, and sector-specific mandates from RBI and SEBI. Why our objective is to provide MSMEs with the practical and minimal cyber defense baselines. Quickly jumping up to the next slide. Before we go into the depth of the controls, let's talk about the applicability and legal reference. Definitely, this session has taken the reference with the certain document that covers 15 elemental controls for MSMEs that has been issued under Ministry of Notification, Statutory Order 1702E, and MSME Development Act 2006. Definitely, how it applies to the MSMEs, they can consider their classification considering the notification number 2020 statutory order 1702E dated 1st June 2020. They can adopt these baseline controls to benchmark their security. They can prioritize their quick wins, and definitely they can build the customer trust, regulators trust with by implementing these cyber defense baselines. So quick action steps for MSMEs to understand. They need to definitely adopt these 45 baseline recommendation that comes under 15 elemental controls for self-assessment and gap identification. So first, they need to assess themselves and do the gap assessment for their organization. They need to conduct the annual baseline audits through certain empaneled organizations to validate compliance and assurance. And definitely from the governance side, they need to ensure the designing of the policies, integration of the controls with respect to the policies, and continuous monitoring. For the certain empaneled auditing organizations like us, we will use this document as a reference to evaluate auditing organization and our solutions that covers the consulting, uh, auditing, and the assurance part to ensure that MSMEs are compliant end to end from policy till the monitoring, and considering their response part also for the cyber security landscape against any cyber incident. Now let's understand cybersecurity landscape for MSMEs. So what I have tried in this slide to map the threats, key threats, the common gaps that MSMEs face, and the regulatory drivers that comes under this 15 elemental controls. So the mapping comes, for example, if we map the threat, ransomware or any malware attack, right? So we should ensure, considering the organization, whether it is MSME, SME, or any other enterprise, the backup and recovery part of the organization, how end to end it is being managed, so that at the time of the operational disruption or any attack, the data can be recovered, and at the end, at the back end, how the data has been kept, whether the offline data or offsite data, how it has been kept, and how frequently the restoration testing is happening successfully. So all these things matter. And also covering the endpoint security, definitely our laptops, our gadgets that we are using for communicating business sensitive information. So that needs to be protected considering unused ports, the hardening of the operating systems, and systematic patching processes needs to be developed for the standard patching and the emergency patching. And definitely the solutions, the endpoints protection solutions needs to be implemented and considered in a roadmap for any organization. Considering phishing and social engineering, human is the weakest link, we all agree. And repeatedly, if we train humans, so that could be area that how we can reduce the phishing and social engineering, because it's still a leading type of attack, which is recurring day in, day out. apart from any kind of awareness session trainings happening in any kind of organization, still we are facing the maximum attacks under phishing and social engineering. But still, we can try to train our resources at our best with the help of the third party vendors, the organizations like us who are providing the services. Supply chain risks, definitely MSMEs who are dependent on the third party for the products, right? They need to ensure that they are in a contract, legal contract, and the due diligence has been happened with the third parties to ensure the information security is I mean, they need to consider it as a model where the responsibility needs to be defined in an agreement and due diligence needs to be considered that their data is protected because it will lead to supply chain risks. And most importantly, insider threats. The organizations need to understand how they need to maintain the access control process within their organization, privilege management processes within their organization. We'll not go to the tools and solutions right now, but still they need to identify first that what kind of roles to what kind of people, right? So role-based access controls, policies, processes, onboarding, offboarding processes needs to be defined properly, and then comes the part of tool. So first, the strategy needs to be built well, and then the solutions needs to be implemented within the organization. And right now, these days, our data is on cloud, and we are actually leveraging different cloud models depending upon the requirements. So we need to understand the shared responsibility model, ensure that the teams are in coordination with the vendors whom they are taking services, and configuration reviews, not only configuration reviews, but the access management review, every kind of security assessment, consulting, and assurance parts needs to be covered under these to prevent cloud and payment related exploits. Let's talk about the common gaps. So common gaps with respect to the controls, we find like we have talked about sometimes organization is struggling with respect to the skills, right? And budgets. So for skills, definitely we need to make our internal team within the organization strong. First of all, we need to set understand the tone of the voice at the top, right? So that should be rightly set, and accordingly that needs to be passed on to the higher management, and they need to identify the security point of contacts whom they can be, I mean, they can be club, we can call them as a compliance team in an organization, or depending upon the organization it could be a single point of contact only, right? So that enablement of that resource needs to be done, and we need to understand what are the basic a framework that we need to follow, whether it is an IST CSF or definitely for the ISMS 27K, they need to understand the current position of the organization, security posture of the organization. So all those things, for all those things, the internal resources should be well trained and equipped, right? For the no policies, right? So definitely, if we talk about risk assessment, so risk assessment is the best exercise, right? We can identify the gaps within the organization, where the organization is currently standing, right, in terms of information security, how they are responding, right? How they're containing the threats, how they're responding, how they're detecting the threats, alerts, right? What are the alert mechanisms? How the logging and monitoring mechanisms are being tracked within the organization, right? So basic things we need to understand. And in terms of the risk assessment, we need to identify the weak areas, and definitely we need to assign the processes around it, develop the processes around it, and then the controls, and then the governance part around it. That covers the entire ISMS 27K, because that is a very basic framework standard that talks about information security. And definitely these 15 control is, I mean, it covers everything that comes under NIST CSF or ISMS 27K, right? Yes, and regulatory drivers I have already talked about, like certain DPDP, RB, the specific regulatory or regulators like RBI, SEBI, IDI, and standards and frameworks that would be checked under ISO 27001, GDPR if it has a European presence, data has been processed in India, right? In digital and mighty push also sometimes. So this is the slide that covers the 15 elemental controls, right? And these are the controls that will talk about how they are being segmented into the different segments, considering the technology part of it, operational part of it, and the governance part of it. Definitely, it depends upon the organization to organization, but we bring it to an ease to make audience understand that how we can segregate it and we can plan we can plan a roadmap for an organization, and organization can also plan a roadmap for them, right? So, under technical controls, we will talk about the five foundational technical controls that form the backbone of your cybersecurity infrastructure, right? So, first we can talk about the asset management. Tell me, if you don't know what assets you own, how you can protect them? By maintaining a centralized inventory, I think it is a better idea so that you can have a full visibility of your assets and prevent blind spots, right? And then the network and email security, definitely this remains a top entry point for the attackers. Uh, I mean, we can think of strong firewall, secure Wi-Fi, a VPN with MFA, and email hardening, right? Uh, through different DKIM and DMARC policies, right? So it may somehow it can prevent the breaches, right? So we need to be our organization needs to be ready with these kind of controls in terms of technology, right? Network and email security. And for the email and mobile security, endpoint and mobile security, I have already talked about, like with employees, those who are using laptops, mobiles, USB devices, they are highly exposed, right? And vulnerable. So licensed endpoint protection, restricting removable media, and using national initiatives like CSK. I'll particularly talk about Cyber Swachhta Kendra that comes under certain initiatives, right? That can significantly improve defenses. But however, we should be ready for the modern solutions and technology, right? EDR, XDRs, let's talk about the security configurations we all know, right? So many attacks succeeded because of weak defaults. If we talk about operating system, we talk about unused ports and default accounts, right? So we need to close the easy doors for the attackers. Patch management. Threat actors exploit known vulnerabilities. A defined patching process should be there, monitoring vendor and certain advisories, monitoring vendor patches and certain advisories, emergency patching procedure, and ensuring weaknesses are addressed before they can be exploited. So for that, definitely vulnerability assessment, pen testing, configuration reviews needs to be done for the infra and for the applications, right? And for the network devices. So that needs to be a regular exercise for any organization so that timely we can remediate the patches. We can remediate the issues and we can fix the patch around that issue. Okay, so let's talk about the operational controls. This section highlights basically, if we talk about detection, response, and recovery, this section highlights everything that how an organization is detecting, the threat, right? Detecting an incident, how the process, formal incident process is there, right? If any incident occurs, and how we can be resumed after that incident, right? How our backup and recovery processes are behaving at that time of incident, right? What are the third party risk management, what areas we are covering and how we are monitoring that, and definitely the data protection and recovery. So this section highlights the operational controls, the capabilities that allows MSMEs not just to defend, but to detect, respond, and recover from cyber incidents quickly and effectively. It starts with incident management. Having a formal incident response plan, clearly defined rules, and conducting regular tabletop exercises ensures your team knows exactly what to do at the time of crisis. Also, compliance with certain, for example, if we talk about any incident occurs, how I mean, within 6 hours, it needs to be reported to certain. So that is a kind of guideline that certain has published. Next is logging and monitoring. Comprehensive logs across critical systems stored for 180 days within India. That is another guideline that certain has mentioned. And it should be combined with the continuous monitoring and automated alerts. That will help surely to detect suspicious activity before it escalates. If we talk about TPRM, for example, MSME depends on vendors and suppliers, right? Ensuring their security posture through due diligence and contractual requirements is essential to avoid supply chain risks that I already talked about. And data protection and recovery. That also I have covered, I think, because we need to ensure like how backups are stored offline and offsite, right? Along with the regular restoration testing that actually ensures even if a breach or any ransomware attack happens, the business can recover without devastating loss. Because organizations are paying crores, right, to the attackers to get recovered from this ransomware attack. Even now, awareness and training. People are often the weakest link. So, semi annual trainings, phishing simulations, and participation in certain initiatives, awareness helps build a culture where employees can actively contribute to the resilience. I hope I'm making a sense. I'll take a question answer later on after completing the slide. Let's quickly move to the other segment of governance and access controls. In this section, it focuses identity and assurance, which sits at the core of the governance and access controls. You can see a pyramid here, right? Here, pyramid shows the foundation. We start with policies, enforce them through controls, and monitor their effectiveness, and finally ensure accountability through audits. So this is a stage, this is a roadmap from policy to control to monitoring and then auditing to ensure that we are compliant with respect to the current security posture. And that keeps on revising with respect to the solutions, if we say people, process, and technology. So first element, if we talk about is governance and compliance. Every organization, no matters how small, should have a designated security point of contact, a formal InfoSec policy, and periodic reviews aligned with certain directives. This sets the tone at the top. I already talked about. This is very important. Next is robust password policy. Weak or reused passwords still one of the leading cause of breaches. I'm not talking anything new in this presentation. However, we are getting these kind of guidelines repeatedly in one or another form to make the organization aware that how critical are we in how critical stage are we right now, right, in the evolving cybersecurity landscape. So we need to be vigilant, we need to be resilient in every scenario, in every situation, at every point of time. So if we talk about password policy, definitely enforcing strong password mechanism, lockouts after failed attempts, and MFA for critical accounts significantly reduce risks. Then we have access control and identity management. We all know that implementing role-based access controls, performing quarterly reviews, and following thorough onboarding processes ensure that right people have right access at the right time. If you talk about physical security, it is equally important because server rooms and critical infrastructure should have badge or biometric access, CCTV monitoring, and asset return checks during employee exits must be there to prevent insider misuse. And finally, but not the least, last but not the least, it is vulnerability audits and assessments, right? Annual independent assessments, regular remediation, and periodic risk reviews provide continuous assurance. So, to summarize this, what we have set the objectives, we have discussed about the controls, right? So, for any organization, that could be a roadmap, like from baseline to action, or anywhere at any stage you are standing, you can build your roadmap, you can build your baseline, current baselines, and your final goal, right? And your readiness towards the uh, towards the policies, process, and controls against the cyber defense, right, strategies. So that needs to be in phase-wise approach so that you can track it accordingly. First could be the awareness and baseline that covers definitely the awareness. The organizations are evolving in terms of people, process, and technology because people come, people exits, people gets entry, and people exit, right? So that is evolving. Technology is evolving. That's why you are taking up the different solutions. You can see different solutions in the market, right? Be it the endpoint solutions, network solutions, right? And at the application level solutions so that we can track the incidents in terms of cyber security landscape, right? So that needs to be done. And phase two is like to strengthen network and application security because it is at the heart of the cyber security landscape, and implement cloud IAM, conduct vendor security checks, run phishing simulations. These are the basic things, right? So phase one and phase two you can take simultaneously because phase one is very basic, like for the endpoint, for the basically how you are accessing your devices, where the business sensitive information rests, right? How you are developing your incident response playbook. So all these things, it depends totally upon the organization. And definitely, then you can think about the detection and resilience part, where you could think about deploying the same solutions, EDR solutions. You can definitely think about the incident response drills, right? Tabletop exercises first, and establishing a BCP DR framework, stringent framework, and building forensic readiness capability. So these all till phase three is like you can decide your is as per your organization, right? And definitely in parallel, I have written in phase four. However, the committee could be it depends upon the organization to organization because first the organization see the current posture and then they decide like yes, definitely we have a good resource who can support us in this area, right? Cybersecurity area. So they develop a committee in terms of that, right? They have a compliance team, audit team who conduct internal audits also, right? Who handle external audits also. And they align with the certain DPDP Act requirements. And for that, if some organization, they are not having that budget and resources, we provide our VCSO and VDPO services so that we can assist the organization end to end. And definitely our goal is to be future ready, to adopt the zero trust model, to implement threat intelligence program, because deploying the solution, it's not enough. Developing the process, it's not enough. We need to be future ready. How we can ensure that we are in a model where the new vulnerabilities, new threat occurs, and we are able to, resist ourselves with respect to those vulnerabilities, right? And definitely AI is there, how AI enable AI driven detection solutions that can be implemented within the organization or through vendors, we can take support, right? So in that case, you can plan your actions. We can see some of the case studies where I have mentioned the sources also. And these case studies are just to highlight that MSMEs of any sector, right? So these are not sector specific. This could be any sector, right? And the attacks I have talked about, these are the common attacks. The sources I have talked about, right? The weak links I have talked about, these all are common in the organization. It varies like how I mean, the applicability of that control, how it varies, it could vary organization to organization, how stringent the controls are, but the weak links could be similar. So in that case, we need to learn from the mistakes of others and we need to understand how we can make the our organization more secure and stringent. So here in this case, ransomware at CH happened, right? And they forced, I mean, that the data of the customers, right, that leaked, right? And while the victim was large TSP, and the impacted entities were small MSMEs like banks with limited in-house security. So they have paid a huge amount. Vendor and third party risk, these are the kind of controls they and they can use for the third party tech, right? Due diligence, cyber clauses, business continuity and disaster recovery, monitor and detection, governance and risk, and compliance and audit. So these are the controls that can be implemented against these kind of attacks. So we need to have incident response playbooks around our organization, that in which kind of situation, how our organization will react. Another example, in the Pune engineering solution firm, they have spent 2.35 crores, right? They are sent to attacker for the spoofed email, and because they have changed the vendor bank details during the machinery purchase, right? So that was also a case of spoofing, right? Spoofing attack. And definitely the controls here I have mentioned, and these are the controls that we have talked about in detail. And when an incident happens, definitely your incident response team should be there. And they need to understand their roles and responsibility. Like, for example, who will respond to the incident, who will notify, right? Which team will detect, right? If there are solutions of how incident is attacked, entire root cause analysis needs to be identified, right? And the uh, analysis part and how it happened, right? Entire case study needs to be designed. So every team, like from SOC, from IT team to the if the third parties are involved, they need to be notified and they need to ensure that how it can be tracked. So there should be a proper process, incident response process for these kind of incidents. This is the last slide that I'm talking about, because here how we can help you. Definitely, we have our different services under different segments that we can call as consulting, assurance, and auditing. Definitely, some organization, it depends upon organization to organization that at what stage they are, but we are here to support you at any stage, right? From the scratch also, because we have developed such kind of solutions for our global team, right? We have our regional presence, right? Because end to end, if I have shown you the baseline actions, right? Until your end goal. So entire roadmap, we are here. We can prepare for you. We have our managed services. We have our advanced security engineering services that covers red teaming also, right? Threat hunting. So all these kinds of things we are covering. vCISO services under data protection and recovery, GPRMs. We can guide you for the audits, consulting, and assurance. And for the security assessment, VAPT and configuration reviews, definitely. So this is the quick map of our services. This is our team. We are a team of qualified professionals. We have experience in different sectors: manufacturing, BFSI, insurance, healthcare, NBFCs, and others. Definitely, our consultants and auditors, both are industry experts. We have proven track records, and we have collectively provided our solutions to all the clienteles in terms of expertise, in terms of delivery, and in terms of clients' requirements, either regulatory or compliance. These are esteemed clients. So with this, I can end the session, and definitely I'll just check like if any one of you have any question. Before that, I would like to thank you all to attend this session, being such a nice audience. Just a second. Ishana, you can unmute. If you have muted them all, or I think anyone can ask the question. If you have any question, I'm quickly checking the chat box.
Thank you so much for the insightful and engaging presentation, Suhasini. We have covered a lot of valuable information today, and I'm sure everyone has gained a lot from today's presentation. Moving on, I would request everyone to come up with their queries and feedbacks, and we are very happy to answer them. The chat box is open to you, and you can all unmute yourself if you have queries. Thank you.
And definitely, meanwhile, I'll just say stay vigilant and stay resilient. And I'll look forward to connect with you again. We'll wait for one more minute. If we have any queries, we can definitely cater that.
So, Hasini, we have a query in the chat box, if you can see.
Okay. So we have a query. Is there any small certification for cybersecurity for MSME? So, sir, small then ISO 27001. Okay, sir, you can have your assessment first. Your organization can have the gap assessment first. We can assess the your organization's gap risk assessment. We can say that. However, that comes under ISO 27001. So definitely, I would suggest at least you should go for 27001. However, you can connect with our solution team. Definitely, Ishana, if you can, here the contact numbers are mentioned for India location, and Ishana can drop the same to the chat box also.
Sure, I will drop the. Actually, everything is available on our company's website. So, and
Yes,
I'm attaching the
definitely.
link to the same, and you will find every kind of contact information and the
Yeah.
service name aligned there.
Okay, so I have another question. Do you offer phishing simulation? Definitely, sir. We, like I have mentioned, we are here to help you in every phase. I have talked about. We are covering phishing simulation also trainings. We provide, right? So definitely, you can connect our team. Yes, definitely you can get more details about it with our solution team. We have different team here who is managing all these details. But to answer to your question is yes. Any other question? Please, I am excited to, yeah, thank you, sir. Excited to take up your questions. Please leave your feedback, right? The training. Yeah, Ishana has shared the company's website link. You can go there and trace about our services. Okay, I think Ishana, no more questions. We can drop off.
Yes, if there are no more questions and queries, So, yeah, we can drop off. Thank you once again for joining us today. We appreciate your time and participation and have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, Vivek. Thank you. Thank you, Shana.